Okay, today we were talking about mortgage loan pre-approval and why it is so important. Let's get started. So a few highlights for the episode that's coming up is mortgage loan pre-approval is super important. You should be doing it first, if not second, in your home buying process. It's free with no obligation to purchase or to work with that mortgage lender moving forward, and it doesn't hurt your credit. So it's a win-win. So mortgage loan pre-approval is a letter that you get when you work with a certified mortgage broker. You give them all of your financial information, and they're going to give you a certificate or like a letter that says Gillian Murphy is approved for X. So let's just say $500,000. So now you know this is the maximum amount that you can be approved for a loan. So super simple and straightforward. How it's used is you take that letter and you put it with your offer when you're looking to buy a home, and that kind of proves like that I'm capable of getting a loan for the amount that this house is purchased for. Doesn't mean the loan will go through later. We can talk about that later down in the process, but it is like a good faith indicator that you did your homework and you're able to purchase a home. The reason I think it's so important, and I want to make sure it's being used as a financial planning tool, because your mortgage broker should be able to break down an estimate of what the payments are going to be at different price points, with the insurance and all of this, so that you can really say, okay, if my payment is $2,500 a month, can I afford that? Do I want to get a roommate? Do I want to look for a less expensive home? There's options to you, but I want you to feel confident that when you walk into a house, you're going to know how much it's going to cost you. And that will help everything else fall into place later on, because we don't want to get into a situation where you end up purchasing a home that you can't really afford, because that's probably not going to go super well down the line, right? So we want to make sure that we have this in place first so that we can look at houses and feel more confident in what we can afford. How are you going to find a mortgage broker? Well, if you have friends and family that love theirs, they recently got refinanced or they recently bought a home and they like their broker, take their recommendation. If they don't have anything particularly great to say about them, maybe don't take their recommendation. You can find someone on Google. Make sure you're looking for certified mortgage brokers that are in your area that have good reviews. Feel free to interview them. You can also hire your real estate agent first and then use their mortgage lender partner that they use with other clients and go about it that way. Either way is totally fine. It's whatever's up to you. I do think that having this in place early will really give you a sense of, where you're going when you're ready. So that's kind of why I think it's more important than hiring your real estate agent, but either way, it's fine. So the other thing that's really key and very important about this is they only last about 30 to 60 days. So you're probably going to have to do it twice in some capacity, depending on how fast the process goes. I like to recommend people do them 3 to 6 months before you buy a house, right around the same time that I recommend hiring your real estate agent, because you'll be able to sit down together and create a plan of action. Depending on where you are in the market, it may take that long to buy a house or it may be really fast. And it really just depends on you and the homes available in the market and, how that process is going to go. And so even though you're going to have to do it again, I don't think that's a bad thing. They're free. There's no obligation to purchase. So there really isn't a downside in doing it again a little bit later. It's just that important of a step that I think you really should do it right away. The final thing I wanted to say is, a few tips and tricks. Don't let this stand in the way. I know everyone gets really excited about actually looking at houses, and then this kind of gets thrown up into the way, and people, hate doing their homework. And a lot of times this just sits there as an undone to-do list item. And I know it's going to take a little bit of work to submit all the documents, but it's super important. And in the end, I think you're going to feel that much better that you know where you're at and what the plan is going to be. Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like more information about how to get your mortgage loan pre-approval, I have a link below to my article that I wrote on the same subject on my website. There's also going to be a link to a first-time homebuyer guide, which is free. That gives you some more information about the whole process. And stay tuned next week when I talk about how to hire a real estate agent.